Our team first. Sounds strange, but that was a very good win for us. I give my staff a lot of credit. And we got back from a game against against Baylor, and just went to work. And yesterday we had 2 days and really got a lot done. And I thought the job the staff did was as impressive as the job the team did. A couple of real bright spots, our four guards had 19 assists and 0 turnovers. That's phenomenal. Our 3 centers had 19 points and 17 rebounds. That's 2 games in a row where we're getting some scoring there, and that was impressive. I thought, we had more than a few guys. Malik Hall did a hell of a job on Townsend. I mean, he got 17 points, but a lot of them weren't on Malik, and I thought Malik did an unbelievable job on him. I thought after a little bit of a slow start, we shot the ball pretty well. We got our break going off our defense, that stretch right before half. And the second half, Tyson kind of took over. And how impressive is that in 2.25 years, he gets 1,000 points. And I'm so happy for him. But I felt like, Jaden's starting to shoot it better. And that's encouraging. Jeremy Fears did a nice job with 3 assists and no turnovers. AJ, I thought he defended really well again and just kind of letting the game come to him. It's unfortunate. He was 5 for 8, but I think 2 of his, for sure, the beginning one, he was going to lob it to, and he just went off his hands, so it looked worse than it was, but I thought he did a great job. But as far as Oakland goes, it's difficult for me. I'm a huge Greg Campy fan, and I don't know if it's 21 games in a row now. It's really it's almost not fair. I pull for him hard all the time, except when they play us. But there's been so many big games, and so this game for me was a big game. I mean, we were concerned about it. Didn't sleep much over it. He does a phenomenal job. Just at a place that doesn't get the ink that most do. But I look at guys like Conway has improved a ton. Townsend is a very good player. We did an incredible job in the Golke kid. He's been shooting the lights out, and I took 18 threes against Ohio State and made 6 of them. And I was happy for some guys, believe it or not. The Lampman kid, great kid from right over here in Hazlitt. He's improved so much. He was injured. And I'm a Rocket Watts fan. I love Rocket when he was here. I think Greg and Rock deserve a lot of credit. He played so much more under control, so they did a better job with him than I did. But he really did a great job. He was solid defensively. He didn't force things. I told him after it was fun to watch him, even though I was a little ticked off there at the end when he hit some big shots. But, he did a hell of a job. And so that team is good enough to win games. But what we're starting to do is impose our defense. Now, the rebounding, still concerned. 16 offensive boards against us. I thought our guards did a little bit better job for a while, and then I thought they went in the tank. And we got to do a better job. Our 2 centers did a great job. Malik's got to do better than 1 rebound, but he had to cut out a horse. I'm telling you, Townsend's a good player. So all in all, I'm thrilled with the win. I think we beat a very good team that a lot of Big Ten teams struggled with. Xavier got beat by. I think it's a team that's going to get better as Lampman now plays more because he was out for a lot of time. He's played in the last 2 games. And I think our defense was the difference. Again, up until the last 3-4 minutes, which is kind of sad too because I don't play guys quite as much and didn't even get Nick and Steven in the game. And part of that was not because of the game, it's because of the damn net and all the crazy, stupid reasons that we pick things. how much you win by and all that crap. But a little disappointed in myself for giving into that, but I did what I had to do. And I think my team was, and staff, again, did a great job, and open it up for questions.
Tom, you talk about the defense. Is that the reason why for the last 2 games in a row you guys have actually started off better offensively because you started playing better defense?
I think so. I think there's an energy level. There's a, I think AJ's been a big part of that. And I do think our defense has gotten better, and so then our offense gets better. Definitely that stretch right before the half, I think we had 3 or 4 breakaway layups, dunks, 3, all because of our defense and our rebounding. I was not exactly ecstatic of our clean rebounds. I didn't think we got enough of them, and Malik's got to do a better job of that, and he will. And I thought, Cohen Carr got 4 rebounds, but some of them were tipped, and you can see where he's just not strong enough yet because Townsend pushed him around a little bit. And we got to get better at that. But we will. He will. He's an unbelievable kid. So, yeah, our defense gets our running game going. This for 28 years has been defend, rebound, and run you. And we were starting to defend, not rebound, and not run. And then we defended and rebounded and started to run. And last couple games we're starting to put it together.
You mentioned about the bigs. With Marty and Coop, they combined, I think they made all 6 of the shots, 14 points and 16 boards between them. How much, and I know that playing that zone's a little different, but how much better can his team be when you get that kind of production from those 2 guys in particular, combined?
Yeah, I think a lot better. I mean, you got to have some kind of an inside threat, and Marty's getting some of his because he's getting 3 and 4 offensive rebounds a game now. I mean, he's been a horse in there and deserves a lot of credit for it because, it was just 2 weeks ago, guys, that or a week and a half ago, weren't very pleased with him. And you know what? It's the great thing about college, I guess, is you can challenge people somewhat, and they responded. And nobody's happier for that than I am. I had 2 great guys, and they're getting better, and we still got hopefully one more to join them. We're getting a little more out of Book. He's just he's making progress, not as fast as you want, not as fast as Twitter wants, and not as fast as I want, but we're going to just stick to what we're doing and keep him on that scout team and let him get better and better and better, and maybe we'll continue to improve.
I saw you gave Booker a little applause for that one push and shove.
Yeah, I was so happy he hit a body. I was like ecstatic, God, it was like I had a baby Book. But, people can laugh, but that's steps. And some of you that have been at practice, you know what I'm talking about. And everybody's got to take steps as long as you're improving. And we got to be patient enough. And, of course, they have to be patient enough. But right now, I love the progress Book's making. I think the smartest move I made was put him on a scout team. He's getting reps. He has to play every day. He's got to play sometimes the best player on their team. We all know he can shoot it. He's got good hands. He had a block. He hasn't been blocking many shots so far. Baby steps, but steps. They're not backward steps. They're forward steps.
Tyson reached a milestone. Tyson reached a milestone today with 1,000 points. When he checked out near the 3-minute mark, you gave him a hug, said something. What did you say to him? And then what is it just to see him have this success over 80 games? What has he meant to the program?
Yeah, he's a little over 2 years. That's getting there pretty quick. I don't know where that ranks. I guess Jack would know. 24th fastest at Michigan State. God, I thought it would be even higher than that, but they didn't guard anybody back in Judd's days, maybe. But it's a treat. It's a treat to have a kid who hardly got a shot early, didn't let it get to him, didn't bother him at halftime. Second half, we told him we got to go to him more. We set up that first play for him. AJ did a great job running it, and once he started hitting some shots, then he was harder to guard. And he has been everything and more than I thought. He's defensively, ever since the injury and the illness, he's been a lot better defensively. I mean, we put him on Golke, and when you do that, you're putting your best offensive player and making him be the best defensive player, and not a peep out of him. So, a special guy, reminds me of Gary Harris back in the day, and, plays both ends hard as hell, and we even need him more than we did Gary offensively. So, hats off to Tyson, proud of him, happy for him, and I think all the players were, and yet he was pretty humble in the locker room.
Tom, I want to ask about Tyson too. Just can you speak to just kind of his consistency this year? It seems like whether he's been hurt or sick or the team's trying everything to take away, he finds a way to kind of have that stretch like he did in the second half. How important has that been for you guys?
Yeah, he's one of those, you get him going now, he says to me, Coach, I come off those pin downs, they had 2 guys on me. And I looked at him on the court and I said, well, how do you think we'd play you? I said, we'd have 3. I'd be on you too. And he laughed, but he's so humble, he doesn't realize that, you're going to get attention, and I thought that was the great part. He played through it without getting many shots and didn't let it bother him. And I think that's the cool part about Tyson, he doesn't have to take 20 shots every game, he doesn't have to take 18. In fact, what's really cool, really, really cool, Tyson had 5 assists and 0 turnovers. There was a time I used to tell him in practice, man, throw it to somebody so you can get an assist, make it your first one at Michigan State. That was probably end of last year. But I just love his demeanor, and I love the fact that he wants the best players defensively now. So I know he's raring to go.
Tom, you mentioned Blake Lampman early, and the kid was obviously a walk-on who's, Greg said didn't even know his name when he showed up. When I was just talking to Blake afterwards, he said his dream is to one day coach on your staff. Greg talked about how much he coaches the team as well. I'm just wondering what you see from him as a player.
I've been impressed. He's missed like 2/3 of their games. I think he's only played 4 games or something like that, maybe 5. But he's got a confidence about him. He's always a threat. Puts it on the floor just enough to hurt you. He's solid. I was really impressed with him. I was impressed on film, but we didn't have as much on him. But I watched him warm up, and I walked in the locker room, I said, damn, kid makes a lot of shots, and he does it in game speed. So, I told our team, I didn't like playing against Rocket. I don't like playing against Greg. I don't like playing against Lampman, even though I don't know him as well. But I know what it's like to come home. When Michigan State came to Northern Michigan University, my 3rd, 4th game of my sophomore year, that was still a highlight of my life, especially that first half when we were in the game. Second half, it wasn't as good. But I just know what it's like to be home, and I thought he did a great job. This is a good team, guys. We played them a little better defensively, and we found some holes in that zone, mostly because of our break, not because of the actual zone offense.
I was going to ask you about that. It seemed like you mentioned about the slow start. It was a little bit sluggish, but you still had 23 assists on 29 makes, and you did get out and run. Was that a big part of it? The slow second half of the first half.
Yeah, the slow start. It wasn't. It was slow because there weren't many shots getting up. There weren't many shots getting up because that zone in a one-day prep is not an easy thing to dissect. And I thought we did a pretty good job with our staff, but then you have to turn that over to the team, and then you have to get your scout team to play like them, and in one day, that's asking a lot. So,
Only 8 turnovers,
well, that's another good point. I'm glad you brought that up. 8, and I think we had, 4 in the last couple minutes, and 2 for sure in the last couple minutes. They hit 2 threes in the last couple minutes, So we did a pretty damn good job, but the slower start was more effect that we couldn't figure out Exactly. It's easy to tell a guy, and they have some length. It's easy to tell a guy, fake it here and hit here. But, we just came off a game that there were 99 ball screens in. Every bit of the offense was ball screens. We just played in a game, I don't think there was one. Think about that. We just played a team that played all man-to-man. We just played a team that played all zone. I mean, that's not easy for a staff, but it's really difficult for a player, and our players do deserve some credit. My staff, assistant coaches, deserve more credit than me on that. So, what I told our guys is we're all kind of growing together a little bit now. We got Stony Brook next, and got to find out not only how to win a game, but how to keep getting better, because after Christmas, things get a little more difficult. Yes.
Tom, Tyson, what stands out about his evolution from when he got here to now as a scorer? When you guys got him, it was sort of for a different role.
Yeah.
I think that was initially pictured to now become whatever averaging 20-some, whatever he is. What stands out about that process to becoming what he is now?
I remember sitting at breakfast with his dad, and his dad said he can score it, he can guard it, and one thing he's going to do is he's going to do what you tell him. He says, don't check his apartment, make sure his bed's made, it'll be made. Don't go pick him up for class, he'll get the class. Kind of funny, but I'm serious. That's what he said to me. And we kind of fell in love with him right then. And that is the way he's been. I mean, he does his job. He's starting to learn a little bit if I have a negative, and I tell him it every day. So I told him the second half, you got to take over. You got to talk to people more. We got to, you got to help me, help us, help you. And I think that's his last kind of situation he's got to get better at. He's a good defender. He got stronger this summer. He's a good shooter. He's gotten better with the ball. He's become a much better passer. He's throwing lobs now and things. I'm just happy for him. It's nice to see a guy live his dream, like he said, after that Duke game, and now continue to get better.
Two more, Thomas and Rakic.
Yep.
Tom, when Jaden shoots the ball like he did tonight and Trey continues to make shots and play well, how much more does that open up the offense and not allow teams to double team at Tyson?
I haven't talked enough about Jaden because sometimes I still, I think he's a really good player. And he hasn't played as good. And part of it's because he hasn't shot it very well. In the last week and a half, he's really shot the ball well. Today, he just shot the lights out in our shoot-around. And when he's shooting at that, I thought every one of his shots was going in except the one off the dribble. I thought every one was going in. And that makes a big difference in our team. And Jaden's one of those guys, if his offense is better, his defense gets better. So he too, we got to get a few more rebounds out of him, but he got 3. It just makes us better. I still think someday we're going to have the best 3 guards defensively in the country. I really do think those guys can check a lot of people. And I think offensively they can do some things, but we haven't proven that yet. So it's still a work in progress. But he is definitely taking some strides as far as his shooting. I mean, forget the games. I'm just talking practice, making a ton more shots than he was making 3 weeks ago.
Getting back to the one-day prep thing, I don't know if you have any more one-day preps the rest of the year. Your staff got into it, got the job done. You've liked one-day preps in the past in terms of getting ready for later in the year. Can you build off that in terms of young guys understanding this is what it's going to take later? Does that come in?
That's exactly what we talked to our team about. We told our young guys, you'll have no clue. The only difference is when you have one-day prep for the Big Ten tournament, one-day prep for the NCAA tournament, so does the other team. When a team has 11 days prep for you and you have 1 day, that's not good, especially as good a coach as Greg is, and he knows our offense, and then that zone. I mean, I told our team, you might face somebody someday in a tournament that not only is it 1 day prep, but runs something completely opposite, of what you're used to. They more or less run the wishbone. In my football analogy, nobody runs the wishbone anymore, but they run the wishbone, and it's a tough prep. And I thought our guys handled it pretty well. Cohen looked a little, talk about some things early, looked a little lost in the middle. He's never played there. We've not faced any zone. And so it was probably good for us. It just didn't feel good sleeping last night.
Tom, I just want to ask you real quick before you're done. Jackson's been back in the boot. Has his timeline changed at all?
No, the only reason he's in a boot, I'm hoping his timeline hasn't changed any. You know, he came back, started working out, got a little sore. They x-rayed it and everything, and it seems to be no problem. And we just said, you know what, we're shutting him down till after Christmas. I mean, we think he's too valuable. And so that's the only reason. And you probably saw Gehrig was in a boot today too. They were a little worried because he had a little soreness in his foot, and but they X-rayed, MRI'd, PQD'd, you know, whatever they do now. They have 10,000 different ways to look at it, and but it all came back negative. So just a little soreness, and he's going to have to work through that. But no, as far as Jackson goes. And it's going to help us, guys, when we get him back, because he can score it, he can pass it, and he can shoot it. And so that's going to help too. But it's really nice to challenge Marty and Coop, and really nice to see him respond. And so don't, those of you that are from Oakland, you know, this thing isn't going to last forever. And when I say I feel for him, because I know how many games have been right down to the wire. Tonight wasn't, and I thought it would be, and I'm sure when I talk to Greg tomorrow, he thought it would be. But they got a good team, and in their league, they're going to do well. And I'm hoping and pulling for them always, and same with Rock. So you guys take care. If I see most of you on Thursday, I'll see you. If I don't, have a good Christmas holiday, whatever.